before we start, my knee's a little messed up, so I won't be doing all the whole moving around deal, but I'll try to. If the people in the back can just move to the front so I'm not like yelling, that would be really great. You don't have to, I'm just saying. It'll be kind of good. Okay, thank you. Alright, so our group was doing recruiting. I'm Jeff, these are my partners Sam, Ant, Alex, Sean, and Tyler. Alright, so I'm going to be talking about the overview and the introduction of recruiting. And you see I put up here, not hiring. So when I say not hiring, a lot of people confuse the two. Hiring is more of a just find any Joe Schmo that fits the job description. Where recruiting, you get more of a process kind of feel, where you go through a process and a job analysis to find out who exactly your best candidates are. So who is a recruiter? A recruiter is basically a person in the company who knows about the positions, basically the skills needed to fill a job. A recruiter should know everything they need from like tasks, skills, and everything sort of like that. So some of the areas of recruitment we're going to focus on, what my peers are going to touch on, is company image, basically talking about the company's reputation, methods at different organizational levels. So basically recruiting at the executive level, the middle level, and the trainee level. Other things, so recruitment process includes analyzing the job requirements, attracting employees, basically how you're going to do that with pay, incentives, things like that. Screening and selecting, so screening, going through people's backgrounds, and selecting, basically choosing the best candidates. And integrating the new employee to the organization, so basically showing the history, the culture, things that they need to know. So the first one would be job analysis. So basically in job analysis, you're basically like breaking down everything you need for the job. So basically going through all the requirements, the skills, everything you need, and then that'll take you to the job description, basically will be your end result. So it's more like a written document, basically giving you the job title, description, duties, skills, like I said before. Get over here now. Okay, so when you're doing the job description, you need to know if you're filling a new position or you're replacing a position, because if you're doing a new position, you kind of really don't know what skills or qualities a candidate should have. But if you're just replacing an old employee, maybe you already know these tasks or skills that they need to have already. So that's very important. So attracting an employee, like I said before, so pay, which is really a big one. How much money you're going to give them, benefits, as in health, 401k, pension plans, incentives, that's in getting paid by commission, paid by overtime, things like that, etc. So basically you know who you are as a company. So if you're a big company, maybe you want to reinforce how you guys are a big company and you offer 401k plans and health benefits and everyone loves you guys. And if you're a small company, maybe you guys want to just talk about how less bureaucratic you are, or how everything's more laid back, the culture's better for the company. So the next topic is screening. So screening is very important in the recruiting process because you want to know what kind of candidates you're bringing in. You don't want to kind of bring in a person who's going to kind of bash the company's reputation. So they all go through the screening process so that they can improve regulatory compliance, increase safety and security. For example, for the safety and security, so if you're getting people that had former DWIs or somebody who's doing drugs or something, maybe you don't want those people in the workplace because maybe they'll do something unsafe or something that's not what you're supposed to be doing. The next topic will be selecting. Basically, who will be the best at helping the company attain its goals. This is a really important one. Basically, when you're selecting, you got to narrow it down by candidate of how well they match up to each other, and then how well that reflects on the company's goals, and how all of that is going to make the company a better person. So you're probably going to get most of that information by the interview process. When you're interviewing, you probably should ask questions that are more open-ended based, so you can get more detailed explanations of the candidate, or get them to tell you about some of the times that they were using their strengths and weaknesses and stuff like that. Integrating the new employees, so basically giving them a history of the company, their mission, values, which is all important, and the culture of the company, basically how they should act or behave in the workplace, as well as important policies like, something funny, you don't want them to come to work on a Friday when it's just casual Friday in like a button-up suit or something, I don't know. The next topic is name blind. So it's basically what it means, name blind. So when you're recruiting, you have to be name blind. Basically, no discriminating by name. I know some people's names have nothing to do with what they look like or a thing, but that's very important. You don't want to discriminate against any candidates or anything that would have anything to do with being discriminatory. All right, so the next topic will be sourcing. So basically, talent acquisition. So how are you going to go about getting new employees or looking for employees who are qualified and fit for the position already? You could find people basically internally or externally. I like internally more than externally because sometimes people that are qualified internally, if you were going to promote internally or something like that, you could usually find candidates who have the skills already in the company just to promote them to a higher thing. Or externally is more of you go out and search for somebody who's qualified outside the company to come in and basically take over that job you're looking for a replacement. It's important to understand goals. Like I said before, if you're a company, and this is just for an example, if you're a company and you're looking for somebody that moves 300 boxes daily, you're not going to probably hire a Joe Schmo who's really skinny and really can't lift 100 boxes. You're going to find someone who's like fit, you're going to go through all the categories and stuff to find the best candidate. And relate to self, I play football, so when I think of recruiting, I think of colleges like coming to high school and trying to recruit players. They look at your film, your height, your weight, your hand size. They try to basically get all the information they can so they can basically get that perfect fit for the football team that they're looking for. And that has a lot to do with the coaching, so basically the manager or the person doing the recruiting. They have a lot to say when it comes to this, and it's very important to, how do I say this, find the right guys for the right job. And I'm going to pass it on to Sean now. He's going to talk to you guys a little bit about company image.
How's everyone doing? I'm Sean. I apologize in advance. I have a little bit of a cold if there's any coughing or sniffling. So I'm going to be talking about company image with you guys. So the definition of company image is, you can kind of separate it, company and the image. Company, as we all know, is the entity that you're working for, and the image is how everybody perceives you from within the company, from outside of the company, and how that really relates to your reputation and how people know you throughout the corporate world. This is important because companies have to constantly change to keep up with competition. Even if you have a positive company image at one point, that might not mean that in 5 years that's still going to be acceptable or what everybody's looking for. And really, there's a few different parts of the theory behind company image, and that's the corporate identity, the corporate communication, corporate image, and feedback. And I'm going to be getting into each of these a little bit more in depth in these next slides. So the corporate identity is the reality and the uniqueness of the company, really what kind of makes it stand out from the others, why people should choose you to work for, or to purchase from, or to sell to you, or whatever element. And really you have to develop a strategy or plan from that, what you're trying to achieve as a company. And that all kind of ties into the corporate culture. And that's really how everybody within the organization interacts, their values and beliefs. And this is really important to the organization because the more everybody gets along and ideas kind of flow, the more actually gets done. So a more specific area of this is the organizational design. And what this consists of is the decisions of development, the company's overall design, and this is organized by a department within the organization that is called different things depending on the culture. And another specific area of this is operations. This is the final component of the corporate identity, and this is more of the day-to-day kind of stuff. what happens in between all of the bigger points, and that kind of has a big influence on the overall goal. So another thing is the corporate image, and this is, as we said before, the reputation of the firm. This is for various audiences too. One audience might be looking for something different than another audience, but you want to appeal to all of them. And this is also important to the stakeholders, everybody who has a stake in the company, stockholders, people who work for it, people who own any aspect. And this is especially big in big corporations because there's so many elements that go into that and so many specific areas. And this also goes towards government regulatory agencies because they're going to be the ones watching over you, making sure you're doing everything up to standard. And if you have a positive image, they're not going to really feel as though they need to test you or watch over you as much. And so, as we've said before, you have to look out for the stakeholders, customers, financial institutions, the people who are going to be giving you loans to expand your company, and your employees. And this also goes towards maintaining that image towards all of these people so that you can accomplish all these different aspects and avoid the inconsistencies. And financial experts play a huge role, again, especially in big corporation situations. Another aspect of this is corporate communication, which is really how each employees communicate with one another. And this kind of links the identity and image of the company. And this is kind of a broad area, but there's many different types of communication that you can consider. Person to person, entity to entity. And this all plays back into the image still with your logos, your formal statements, things people will be seeing around on the internet, advertising about the company. And what could be most important about this is feedback, and that's really everybody telling you how good of a job you're doing so you can develop a better plan and appeal to these audiences. And that's essential to the company image. So you can use that to make decisions, and it needs to be ongoing and continuous. And as time goes on, you might need to modify this to adapt to times and different ideas of the time. And to do so, you really need to utilize your internal resources, make sure you recruited the right people to have the right internal resources, and pull that all back into your positive company images to better your reputation and to attract the most talented employees. Because really in the end, that's what's going to get you accomplishing your goals, but is who's working for you. So to conclude, it's important to you and the company, and your job should match you and your personality and the company's image and personality. And to kind of tie this into me, and everybody can kind of relate, is as an employee and once employed, is trying to fit that company's image, and then once you are employed, portraying that image and upholding what the company expects you and how to act. And I'm going to be passing this off to Tyler now, who's going to be talking to you guys more about recruiting.
Alright, so I'm Tyler, talk to you about the different levels of the organization of recruiting. So first, I'll start off with internal recruiting. So internal recruiting is recruiting employees for a position that are already a part of your company. So for this, it's anyone who already fits the requirements or fits the qualifications for that job. So this could be from a promotion or a transfer internally, so you transfer a different branch of the company. So some sources of internal recruitment, as I said, transfers. You can transfer someone from a different branch